Another breed of bug that has been around since the dawn of time is ants. These common backyard pests are actually the wingless descendants of prehistoric wasps. To many of us, ants are nothing more than a harmless nuisance. But with one species in the southwest United States, that assumption could cost you your life. The South American fire ant, aptly named for the painful burning sensation of its sting, attacks its victims in swarming hordes.
When a fire ant nest is disturbed, the first thing they do is run up the individual's legs and attach themselves with their mandibles, and then start stinging. The general reaction to fire ant sting is a burning sensation and then a small red bump, and then about 24 hours later we have a pustule that forms, and if left alone from 2 to 3 days. However, if the pustule is scratched, then secondary infection can set in.
In cases where the victim is allergic to the fire ant's venom, merely a few stings can cause total respiratory failure.
About 1% of the people in the southern United States are allergic to fire ant stings. If they are stung by a fire ant, this is a life-threatening situation, which they should get to an emergency room as soon as possible.
In the 1930s, these tiny terrors were unknowingly imported into the United States amid cargo shipments of agricultural products. Removed from its native habitat and with no natural enemies to control its population, this aggressive species quickly dominated its new home.
Fire ants are very aggressive. They're also highly reproductive. The queens produce 2,000 eggs in 24 hours. Their colonies are much larger than the native ant species. It has pushed out or reduced the numbers of our native insects, native rodents, native spiders, and because of this, it has a detrimental impact on the ecology of these areas.
In less than 60 years, this highly adaptable creature has expanded its territory, covering more than 280 million acres of the United States, and it shows no signs of slowing down.
We should worry because they will be moving further west, further north, and of course they are an aggressive ant, and humans will be coming in contact with them more and more.
While chemical pesticides provide some hope of slowing the fire ant invasion, there is another species of ant which etymologists agree must never be released within U.S. borders. Behind these locked doors, under strict security, is an insect with a sting so painful it has been dubbed the bullet ant.
The name bullet ant, I think it reflects the fact that the pain is analogous to being shot by a bullet. Now, I've never been shot by a bullet, so I can't make that comparison, but I have been stung by a bullet ant, and it is excruciatingly painful.
Though this giant species is 100 times the size of a common domestic ant, it has a social order similar to its smaller counterpart.
We're looking at an intimate view inside of a bullet ant nest. This is home. This is where the queen is, the mother of the colony that's laying the eggs. And all these ants you see in here are workers. They're daughters of the queen, and all her daughters are helping her raise these eggs. Once they hatch, they turn into these white grub-like larvae.
The larvae have one main purpose: to eat and grow. It is the job of the worker ants to provide a constant supply of food. Drops of nectar are collected by the workers and carried in their mandibles to be given to the larvae. Solid food is another matter. It is first eaten by the ants, partially digested, then regurgitated directly into the mouths of the larvae. When fully grown, the larvae spin silken cocoons.
Inside the cocoon, there's metamorphosis occurs. The larva transforms to the adult stage, and when it's ready to emerge, the other ants help groom the young worker, and then after a few days, it also starts to help with colony tasks.
One of the most important occupants of the nest is the queen. If she is threatened, the colony responds with ferocity.
They're highly defensive. When you're talking about the nest where there could be several thousand or more bullet ants, and you disturb that nest, they're going to come swarming out in mass, making their warning noise, and grabbing and impaling and stinging anything that doesn't smell like them. Typically, a sting from a bullet ant or even a couple of bullet ants is just going to be a painful, miserable experience, but not be life-threatening. Usually there's an immediate burning sensation, perhaps like you've been impaled by a red-hot nail. If you were stung on the hand, for example, the pain would gradually extend up to the shoulder. It might get to a point where you could lose the use of your arm for a couple hours. But if you were stung many, many, many times, it could kill you.